The Resident Evil series started its journey strictly as a survival horror experience, and as time continued, the series spread further and further from its roots to the pinnacle of an action shooter with horror elements. A side series that thrived in this environment was Resident Evil's Mercenaries mode. Blasting zombies, mutated humans, or infected, battling was quick, loud, and fun. Grab your guns and begin the onslaught, and hope you can survive with the time allotted. This side mode has been a mainstay from Resident Evil 3 all the way up to Resident Evil 4 Remake. With the Nintendo 3DS, the Mercenaries mode received its first ever standalone title appropriately named Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D. With the Nintendo 3DS, Capcom came out swinging, pun entirely intended, with Street Fighter 4 3D. Their support for the console at launch was felt immediately, and Capcom didn't have plans to stop anytime soon. From one of their flagship series to another, Capcom began development on their third Resident Evil title for a portable console, Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D. So, what is Mercenaries? It's basically a minigame where you spend your time fighting the undead and the clock for high scores. You have missions to take down as many enemies as possible without being cornered or murdered, all while having limited resources and being confined to a small arena. Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D was first revealed in the Nintendo World Report of September 2010. It was announced doubly with Resident Evil Revelations. A sizzle reel highlighted first Resident Evil Revelations, then followed up with The Mercenaries 3D, extremely briefly I might add. Only about 4 seconds of gameplay are shown, with Hunk destroying canisters on the map public area, but this was enough to give us an idea of what Mercenaries featured: action, explosions, and the infected. As with many games I've reviewed, Iwata-san once again conducted an Iwata Asks interview with Kawada-san. They covered many aspects of horror and what the best version of horror was. However, one key detail mentioned from Kawada-san was how Resident Evil Revelations and Mercenaries were being developed concurrently. The knowledge they gained from one title could be transitioned into the other. Since Resident Evil Revelations and Mercenaries were being created concurrently, Capcom developed and added a special feature to the title screen of Mercenaries. Essentially, it was a demo of Resident Evil Revelations, giving us players just a little taste of what was in store for the horror-filled title. Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D joined up for explosive, bloody fun on the 3DS in June 2011. The game included 8 playable characters, 8 stages, and over 30 missions to complete. Characters are recreated from their console versions: Chris, Jill, Rebecca, Hunk, Wesker, Claire, Barry, and Jack. All of them have some distinctions from each other, specifically their weapons. One of the strangest exclusions from Resident Evil: The Mercenaries is that of everyone's favorite heartthrob, Leon Kennedy. His dashing good looks, that chiseled chin, and that amazing hair. But where was he? With plenty of characters, you would imagine he would have been a staple poster boy for Resident Evil, but Capcom explained this away. They detailed that Leon Kennedy wasn't in Mercenaries because of an operation in Raccoon City, another title that was coming out around the same time as Mercenaries 3D. They said he may come down the line as DLC, but unfortunately that never happened. A strange omission, no doubt, as there are Resident Evil 4 locations in this title, but still, nothing that takes away from the game's overall enjoyment. Each character features their own set of weapons. Some stay up close and personal, some are more tactical with stun gun grenade shots, others use a knife. A unique feature dedicated to Mercenaries 3D is that you can exchange each character's weaponry for another. So you can play with who you want, with what you want. You can either do so by unlocking this option, by meeting special requirements, or using play coins to automatically gift yourself. Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D features skills as well. Skills are essentially perks. They enhance specific aspects of any character. Some increase vitality that you get from herbs, while others provide more damage output dependent on the weapon type that you're using. There are plenty of skills, and I'd say unlocking them can be tedious, but the benefits outweigh the requirement, at least somewhat. Skills can be equipped to any character, and then they can continue to be leveled up. If you think about it, there's a skill for that. Of course, these need to be unlocked, but that's part of the joy of having them. Another unlockable in the title are alternate costumes. Each character has an alternate costume. Chris has his pilot outfit, Jill has her RE3 outfit, and Wesker has his Ouroboros form. I would have loved to see more outfits come in the form of DLC, but again, we didn't end up receiving any. Across the title, there are a total of 8 locations that missions can take place in: Public Assembly, Village, Castle, the Mines, Prison, and Deserted Island. As you complete missions, the stages become more elaborate. For example, the opening stage, also used for training grounds, is Public Assembly, located in the city of the African country Kijuju. It's simplistic. Some houses, construction sites, and vehicles are scattered throughout the stage. Most enemies spawn in and primarily stay on the ground running around. Very few spawn on higher elevations and require you to search around to find them. As well, there is plenty of space to move between the infected, and there are multiple avenues for escape. As well, there are plenty of item boxes scattered throughout and explosive canisters for easy kills. However, as you complete more missions, you'll find yourself on stages that are more enclosed, narrow, and with fewer options for escape. Stages like Castle, located in Valdelobos in Spain. It's designed to keep you enclosed. With very limited resources across the stage, you have to face the infected. Overall, there is less room for error here. The stages' locales, they vary greatly. The scenery is always switching, which provides interesting atmospheres, difficulties, and options for traversal. So let's discuss the actual gameplay. Each mission takes place in one of the 8 locations in the game. Every mission is pretty similar to the last, which does make it a bit repetitive, but what's your objective? It's simple. Beat all the infected or survive until the clock runs out. After you choose your character, your skills, and weaponry, the battle begins. And this isn't your traditional survival horror that you see with Resident Evil. It's meant to be a lot more actiony. I really like that because there aren't many shooters on the 3DS in the same fashion. You're always on the move. You spawn in and attempt to take out the infected in many ways, with grenades, shotguns, assault rifles, or snipers. They run at you from all sides, keeping you on your toes. And I have to mention, the game looks amazing. It looks like a 360 game, but on the go, and actually it kind of is. Resident Evil The Mercenaries uses the same console engine, but now designed for mobile. You can pop the enemies' heads off with headshots, you can knock them to the floor by shooting them in the legs for a beating with your bare hands or feet. Or in Hunk's case, you can follow up with a 3-tap to ensure the infected is no more. While focusing on destroying the infected in the later missions, there are boss enemies who take significantly more damage to eliminate. They are a lot stronger, not only in defense, but in offense. The enhanced Majini are a chainsaw wielder, executioner, Gatling gun. You don't want to be caught by any of them. Though, the one I'd say that you might want to fear the most is the chainsaw. If they get you, you're done. And a graphic cinematic shows your character struggling to save themselves as the chainsaw rips into them. If you see these enemies, run on sight. As well, there are actual boss enemies. Missions dedicated to a single entity that could rip you in half with the swing of its tail, head, bulge? Either way, being only one enemy does make it easier to focus on them, but they still pack a punch, and I had failed a few times when I was up against them. Probably one of the biggest gripes I have with the game are the controls. They work? Movement with one circle pad is difficult. It's not extremely, but I do find myself really wishing the game came out post the Circle Pad Pro attachment. Using just one of the circle pad, rely on turning the screen and watching for enemies is slightly problematic. If I look forward to walking, I'd love the option to spin the camera and see what's around without spinning my character as well. Missing out on that slight adjustment could have saved me from multiple deaths from something sneaking up from behind. The game features nearly full co-op support. Aside from tutorial stages, you can play an astonishing 22 of 30 stages with a friend or a stranger. You used to be able to play the game online as well. From my personal experience with both modes, local play always tended to be the best option, allowing you to have a good connection and be able to communicate with the other player in real time. Online mode fared well. Lag of course occurred, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been. Having the option to play together all the way through was amazing. I played through almost the entirety of the game with my best friend. Resident Evil The Mercenary 3D is everything its console counterparts is. It's chaotic, it's suspenseful, and it's visually amazing. Its gameplay is suited perfectly for the 3DS. Quick selections, short wait times, and missions that can be completed in minutes make it an easy recommendation to those who still journey with their 3DS nearby. The game has few unlockables that add to its experience, and the co-op mode is a welcome addition. The few gripes I did have with the game are far outweighed by the positives. Mercenaries 3D is a remarkable title in the 3DS library. From being released just a couple months after the console itself, it checked almost all the boxes of an evergreen title. As a successful spin-off, Resident Evil The Mercenaries was amazing, and it left us with just a little demo of what the next mainline game had in store. Thanks for watching, till next time.